Welcome back. Yes, I did change things around just a little bit. That being said, we've got a quick review tonight as there are only 3 games in the National Hockey League, and scoring was down tonight. So we'll see how the scoring does tomorrow night. But yeah, tonight this was all about the defense. Really solid defense played by most teams tonight. We'll start off with 2 teams that did and 2 teams that the goaltenders were kind of busy at the same time. So it's the Rangers and the New York Islanders. It was Halak versus Sorokin. Pushing starts early in this one, but it wasn't an overly physical battle. I really had anticipated more dislike between these teams. Good back and forth chances, loud fans. Carpenter has a net feed that's held. The Islanders press at 4 minutes. There's a power play for the Islanders as well. The Rangers kill that off. They don't allow any shots. And then the Rangers rush the other way. The Islanders, though, they go back to the power play. Lee can't bury one. They cycle on the power play. That's killed off. Lafreniere's then denied on a rush. Sorokin Snow Angels and covers the puck, and then there's some shoving after. Trouba has a hit on Lee that draws some boos from the crowd. It's Trouba, so of course. The Islanders press with 2.5 minutes left. With 51 seconds left, it gets kind of punchy as New York draws a power play. Zibanejad's denied in the closing seconds. So the power play rolls over into the second. The Islanders finish the kill. The Rangers draw another power play. Fox to Trocheck. That was broken up. Shorthanded Nelson chance is saved. That power play is killed off. Kreider then has a rush chance that's held. Beauvillier is denied and close. And then Palmieri opens the scoring. He's been kind of slow off the hop, but this is a good one from Pajot and Pollock at 8:44, and he wired it on the rush. The Rangers press with 9.5 minutes left. Lee then had a rush chance that was kicked aside. The Islanders press. They draw themselves a power play. Palmieri has a shot that's held. That power play was killed off. Palmieri, his best game of the season thus far tonight. The momentum, though, was with the Islanders since that goal. Fox has a rush chance. There's a kick save on that. And so we go into the third period with the score 1-0. Third period, early press by the Rangers. Romanov has a shot that's held. Beauvillier and Nelson both fire shots wide. And then Bailey. Josh Bailey scores from Barzal and Pellick at 5:37. He needed that. He's off to a slow start this year. It's deflected in. Doesn't matter if it's pretty or it's ugly. It's a goal for Bailey. The Rangers press to answer. They end up getting a power play there. The shots are 11-4 at the half for the Rangers. So honestly, Sorokin, his best game of the season thus far. Beauvillier has a net drive that snags. Nelson's denied on a fast break. There was a post for Palmieri, or was it? So the Islanders reacted as if it was in the net. Puck goes down to the other end. Of course, you're always concerned with, like, well, so if the Rangers score here, but yeah, the horn sounds, meaning it's a goal. So Toronto checked it out. It was a goal, just as expected. Palmieri gets that one. What happened is it hits the post, and then the camera inside the net and bounces right back out, so the referee didn't see that it was in the net. Pellick and Pajot with the assists, both of them with 2 assists tonight. Palmieri with 2 goals. That's at 15-23, and it puts the game out of reach. Your final score is 3-0 for the Islanders. They go to 3-4 on the season. The Rangers, they're officially in a big slump now, 3-3-2. And so we'll see if they can pull themselves out of this one. The shots favored the Rangers, 17-8 in the first. Both teams had 12 shots in the second, and 12-9 Rangers in the third. Final shots 41-29 for the Rangers. Power plays, both teams 0 for 3. The hits 43-35 by the Rangers. Halak saves 26 out of 29. Sorokin saves all 41 shots for his 11th career shutout. So kudos to Sorokin on that. And once they had the 2-goal lead, I didn't think Sorokin was going to allow 3. So from there on, it was just basically waiting for the clock to run out. That being said, moving along, the Edmonton Oilers in against the St. Louis Blues. Edmonton did to St. Louis tonight what St. Louis did to Edmonton a few days back, or about a week back now. So it's Skinner versus Binnington. Puljujarvi has a net drive held. Puljujarvi's best game of the season as an Oiler. And I didn't really need to say as an Oiler because it's not like he's been anywhere else. But anyways, his best game of the season thus far. There we go. Early edge for the Oilers, and eventually they get a goal out of it. It is Puljujarvi, who's not initially given the goal. Initially they gave it to Nurse, but they changed it to Puljujarvi's goal. Nurse and Fogle with the assists at 6:07, and that was on a rush. It's buried, and it's only the 4th shot on net for Edmonton. The shots are 4-1 in favor of the Oilers at 7 minutes. I got that wrong. I put Blues. Many apologies. The Blues get a power play. There was a shorthanded rush chance by Hyman. That's killed off. The Oilers then get a power play near miss for Draisaitl. That was killed off as well. Bouchard has a tip shot that saved. Parayko has a rush shot that was held. The Oilers press with 5 minutes left. There was a near miss for Nathan Walker from the slot. Leddy blocks a Draisaitl net feed that would likely have resulted in a goal. And in the last minute, there was a good press by the Blues. So it's 1-0 Oilers after the first. And again, it felt like they did on the road what St. Louis did to them about a week ago. So second period, Bennington, blocker smacks Kane. Evander Kane didn't like it. I don't know if the referee didn't see it or he thought, I'm not calling that. So it was just Kane was coming in on the net and the smack from the blocker of Bennington. And honestly, I don't mind if goalies are allowed to protect their crease. I honestly don't think that's a big deal, but I would understand if there had been a penalty, but there wasn't one called there. The shots are 5-1 for the Blues at 4.5 minutes. They had a much better second period than first. Near miss for Draisaitl. Hyman has a shot that's tipped high. The Oilers press. During that pressure, Bennington was without his stick briefly. They weren't able to take advantage. The Blues press at 7.5 minutes. Kane beats out an icing. The Oilers draw a power play. There was a shorthanded rush chance for O'Reilly that was saved. Oilers with some heavy pressure. Snow Angel from Bennington, and he keeps it out. Toropchenko blocks a Hyman shot. Power play is killed off. The Blues press, but they're kept to the outside. And then the Oilers were kept to the outside as they pressed. So again, defense was the name of the game tonight, and I thought each team that played tonight did pretty well defensively. The shots are 10-4 for the Blues with 4.5 minutes left. Parayko has a blast that is a blocker saved by Skinner. He knocks it right out into the crowd. Big saves at both ends with about 3 minutes left. With 1:49 left, the Blues get a power play, and they score on it. At 19:55, it's O'Reilly with his first goal and point of the season from Falk and Shen. And that was after a shorthanded 2-on-1 for the Oilers that wouldn't go. Now, I mentioned plus-minus in the video this morning because it's a power play goal doesn't count towards plus-minus. But hey, O'Reilly is off that whole zero. He finally has a point. So it's 1-1 after 2. Third period, early press by the Blues, but the shots are 3-1 for the Oilers at 4 minutes. Tarasenko has a shot that's held. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was denied on a rush. The Oilers press at 7.5 minutes. Walker nearly buries one for the Blues. And then there's some pushing after that. The Blues come out with a power play. The Oilers killed that off. They allowed 3 shots. The fans called one. The referee did not. And then Nugent-Hopkins would score to put the Oilers ahead from McDavid and Hyman at 13:44. That is the 200th goal in the career of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Goalie pull with 1.5 minutes left. That allows the empty netter to happen. Hyman scores that from Draisaitl and Kane at 19:33. So, conspicuous by his absence, McDavid. No points for, I think this is the second straight game without a point for McDavid. Your final score is 3-1 for the Oilers. They go to 4-3 on the season. St. Louis, after being 3-0, they're now 3-2. The shots, 11-4 Edmonton in the first, 20-6 St. Louis in the second, 12-11 St. Louis in the third. The final shots, 38-28 for the Blues. Power plays, Edmonton 0-2, St. Louis 1-3. The hits, 21-8 for St. Louis. Skinner saves 37 out of 38. Great start for him. Bennington saves 25 out of 27. So for the Oilers, who are now one game above 500, both goalies seem to have hit their stride. This is good news for Oiler fans and just in general. All right, last game of the night, Tampa Bay in against Anaheim. Anaheim's a tough watch. Anaheim's a tough watch because I don't get the impression it's very similar to Vancouver in that as soon as the game's going, I'm like, they're just not going to win tonight, are they? So it was Elliott versus Gibson. There's an early press for the Ducks. They're kept to the outside. The shots are 3-1 for Tampa at 3 minutes. Comtois limps off. He exits. He would return. Gibson looked sharp early. The Ducks get a power play. Zegras with a shot that's blocked. The Bolts clear it out. That's killed off. There were chances, and this is where Comtois returned. Zegras was prominent on every shift. Kucherov with a near miss and close. The shots are 5-3 for Tampa with 6.5 minutes left. But at 14:25, the Ducks open the scoring. And it's Zegras from Kulikov and Terry, and it was a one-timer on a pretty good cycle. Good press by the Ducks. And then the Ducks press for another, so they've got some momentum. There's a 4-on-2 for the Ducks, and Hedman defends that. And then Sergachev. So before the period's out, Tampa Bay ties it from Paul and Perbix at 17-18. I believe that's Perbix's first NHL point. And that was through a screen, so no chance for Gibson. And then Kucherov on what was a great pass and a one-timer. He scores from Hedman and Myers at 18:44. Now, the question was asked by the announcers whether or not Kucherov kind of fanned on it because it was along the ice instead of going high. When Panger asked Kucherov, Kucherov said, no, that's how I take that shot from there. So he said he didn't fan on it. It was about 74 miles an hour, which for you and I seems like a really fast puck, but to an NHL goaltender, that's not bad. That's a changeup. So, which can be the problem, and Panger even said Gibson was probably expecting a shot that was high and probably one that was a lot faster, and it just threw him off. So it's all bolts to close it out. So after a pretty good start for the Ducks, Tampa Bay's taking over. Second period, power play for Anaheim. Point has a shot that's held, and it's all killed off. Zegras with a net drive, that's broken up. Post for Maroon on a turnover by Zegras. Leeson had a net rush that was defended. Hagel, 2 shots saved by Gibson. Hagel had 2 back-to-back shots. Pretty sure he was going to get a goal there. He didn't. The shots are 8-3 for Tampa with 9.5 minutes left. Vetrano was denied on a 3-on-2, but then Terry ties it, and it's a steal from Philippe Myers at 16:39, and it was a nice goal and was a nice play by Terry there. Then there was a net pass to Henrique that's blocked as now the Ducks are looking for the lead, and at the horn on a faceoff win, Zegras is denied by Elliott. So we're going to the third period tied at 2. Perry was denied early. The Bolts press at 3.5 minutes. There was a power play for Tampa Bay. A shorthanded rush by Lindstrom makes it a 4-on-4. He went down pretty easy. I'm not going to lie. I understood the frustration for Tampa Bay's bench. I don't know that was a trip. Just a good thing they didn't award a penalty shot there because they could have, and then Tampa really would have been upset. So Elliott robs Zegras. Everything gets killed off there. No harm, no foul. I mean, there was a foul, but it shouldn't have been. But anyway, Kulikov defends a net drive by Point. The Bolts press. They're kept to the outside. There was a lot of that tonight. 6:03 left. There's a power play for the Bolts. Perry nearly gets one, and then during that power play, it's Hagel. So Hagel had been around the net. He gets one from Sergachev and Colton at 15:33, and it was a good cycle that led to the goal, and it really took the air out of the building. 2:05 left. The Ducks call a timeout. They would pull the goaltender then as well. Strome couldn't bury one. Zegras is denied as Elliott had his best work in the third period. And then it's an empty netter. It's Nick Paul into the empty net from Hedman at 19:58. Good reward for Paul after a good defensive game by the former Senator. Your final score is 4-2 for Tampa. They even the record at 4-4. For Anaheim, they're 1-5-1. They won their first game of the year. They've lost 6 in a row since then. So the shots are 10-4 Tampa in the first, 13-10 Tampa in the second, and 7 apiece in the third. Final shots 30-21 Tampa. Power plays, the Bolts 1 for 3. And Anaheim 0 for 2. The hits 15-15. Elliott saves 19 out of 21. Those stats aren't fantastic and don't tell you just how well he played. Gibson saves 26 out of 29. I thought it was interesting that in between periods, Henrik Lundqvist said that the north-south ones are the ones that throw off Gibson and that he's known that about him for a couple years, which would explain why Gibson's numbers have taken a bit of a tumble the last couple of years. All right, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about tonight's games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.